A lot of movement today on healthcare on Capitol Hill. As we've been reporting, at least 4 Republicans signed on to a discharge petition by Democrats to force a clean 3-year vote on ACA subsidies. We're joined now by a Republican who's been sounding the alarm about the impact of the upcoming ACA subsidy expiration, Congressman Kevin Kiley of California. Congressman, thank you so much for joining us. You acknowledged yesterday that it would be a big mistake if Congress doesn't extend the ACA credits. 4 of your Republican colleagues signed on to Leader Jeffries' discharge petition. Did you consider signing that petition?
I did, because what I want to do is pursue whatever avenue will actually lead us to a solution here, to a policy that actually gets enacted and spares 22 million Americans from having to pay a lot more for health insurance and some to lose their insurance altogether. So unfortunately, I think you've seen a failure of leadership on both sides. We have several good compromise measures. I've authored one of them with Sam Liccardo called the Fix-It Act. There's 2 others that have several bipartisan co-sponsors, and I believe those compromise measures that include reforms along with a temporary extension would have majority support in the House and could get through the Senate. But unfortunately, the Speaker has been unwilling to bring a bill to the floor, and the Minority Leader has been unwilling to endorse any of those compromises, instead going with an uncompromising measure that has already been rejected by the Senate, so it doesn't really have a chance to become law.
Why did you decide ultimately not to sign the petition?
Well, I mean, it got 4 signatures very quickly, so it sort of reached the threshold before I had a chance to even make that decision. But the reason why I have been reluctant to sign that one, I have signed the 2 others on these compromise measures, is because I'm interested in actually having a solution, not just having a vote for the sake of having a vote. And this measure that Hakeem Jeffries has offered, while refusing to endorse any of the compromises, is very unlikely to become law because the Senate has already said no to it. So what we need is a compromise that will draw folks from both sides, which is what I've offered, which is what Jen Kiggins and Josh Gottheimer have offered, which is what Brian Fitzpatrick has offered. But unfortunately, you have the leaders in both parties who were refusing to endorse any sort of compromise.
As you know, Speaker Johnson today said that he has not lost control of the House. Do you agree?
Well, I would certainly say that he has not led the House in the way that many of us would hope and expect from the leader of our chamber, particularly in recent months, where the House has really been missing in action, both literally in the sense that we weren't even here for 2 months, and figuratively. By the way, when the Speaker canceled 6 straight weeks of session, I objected to that very strongly, and I actually came here myself to work on things like healthcare policy. And then you see that the House has not been in the driver's seat when it comes to really key policy issues, including this one. And so you do see now members trying to fill the vacuum with tools like discharge petitions that allow us to move policy forward without the blessing of the Speaker. So I think that this is a way for the House to work its will when leadership doesn't allow that to happen.
Do you think and have confidence in him that he should remain as Speaker?
Well, usually the Speaker gets to serve out the full term. I know that last term was something of an exception to that, but it's a pretty high threshold for any change to happen in the middle of a term, and it's a pretty extreme measure. And perhaps most importantly, when you do that, it actually paralyzes the whole House, perhaps for weeks. So what I've said is that I think he needs to change the way that he approaches the job and to really reclaim the authority of the House of Representatives under Article 1, which I think has been too much of that has been ceded, especially in recent months.
As you know, the subsidies expire December 31st, and it could spike premiums for millions by thousands of dollars. 218 members of the House want to vote on the bill before the end of the year. Is that absolutely not possible? Is the earliest that vote could happen January?
No, it's definitely possible. We have 2 days left in this week. We have 2 weeks left in this year. If the Speaker makes the right decision, we could go back to the Rules Committee right now. We could get an amendment on the floor today or tomorrow. The Senate could pass it. The President could sign it. And as you say, we could then spare 22 million people from having to pay a very high price.
Congressman Kevin Kiley, we so appreciate your time. Thank you for joining us.
Of course. Thanks for having me.